Welcome to another episode of the 100% podcast with me, your host, Harry Purdy. Today, I am joined by a brand new guest. She is a hybrid athlete, a strong woman, ultra marathon runner, charity fundraising legend, gym owner, and comes all the way from Scotland. Welcome to the show, Nichola Buchan. Welcome.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all good. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
That's how you pronounce it. My stage name is Buchan, so that's right. It's actually pronounced Buchan,
Okay.
but when I am competing, everyone calls me Buchan.
Oh,
So
there you go.
yeah,
So I could
there
have
you go.
brought you out on the stage ready to do a lift or
Compete,
something.
yeah.
You'd have been
Here
ready
goes
to
Nichola
go.
Buchan.
You actually
I'd
said
be
to
ready.
me something in our booking of this podcast. It's actually sunny in Scotland right now, and you've been running recently. So tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, I actually just finished running a half marathon like an hour ago. So I've done that. I don't actually run that much, to be honest. Not anymore. I done an ultra marathon in 2019, but I don't actually run that much now. 5K here and there. But when the weather's nice, I try and get out for a 5K. Today I did a half marathon only because I am running several marathons in August to raise money for charity. So
Perfect. So you say several marathons. Tell us a little bit more about the detail of it and why you're doing it. I think it's important to get this out in the forefront of people's minds now, just so they're aware of what you're doing and the challenges that you're taking on to raise money for an amazing cause.
Yeah, so we're raising money for SUDC UK, which is sudden unexplained death in childhood. So, our babies that fall asleep and never wake up, this charity helps support families and goes and researches into why this is happening, trying to find ways to prevent it from happening again. Sadly, I had a friend and client that lost her son recently to SUDC. He was a big part of my gym family. He was there every single week. I coached her throughout her pregnancy. So when that happened and she was raising money for this charity, I just felt like I wanted to do something to help. He was 18 months when he passed away. So I have decided to run 18 marathons in 18 days in August to raise money for that. And we're already at £10,000. So just...
Oh, insane.
And I haven't even started running yet, which is just great, the support we've gotten so far.
That is incredible. And alongside what is an unbelievable cause is an insane challenge there. And that's gonna push you physically, mentally in all aspects. And it fully fits in with the 100% podcast and bringing people on that are doing things that are 100% and supporting other people, and as well as supporting themselves as well, coming back. But you're supporting other people in this instant, and I know as well along your journey there's been times where you've had your own personal challenges and you've had to get over them, but this is on behalf of somebody else. How are you preparing yourself to run 18 marathons in 18 days? Because I know you can do all the training in the world for that kind of thing. You can go out on the road and run, but mentally that's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, so to be honest, I'm not training as I probably should. I don't want to stop lifting weights, and I don't have time to train for both. So I am running, but I'm not in any way got a marathon training plan. I'm running as and when I want to run, and it's literally been 5Ks. But I always do a 5K. I've always done a 5K here and there. So I've upped my 5Ks to a few a week, and then today was nice. So I was like, we're going to see how far we can go. See how much time I've got. So I had time. I did a half marathon because my body is strong. I'm fit. I'm healthy. Like, this is going to be a hard challenge, but I feel like I don't need to go and prepare physically. It's, as you said, mentally. So when I am training in the gym, or when I am out for my 5Ks, and when I was out today, all I'm thinking about is why I'm doing it, because that's all that matters. And if I have to walk parts of the marathons, I have to walk parts of them. If I can run them all, great. If I have to crawl, I'll be doing it. So for me, it's not about me. It's not about me. So there's nothing really left to think about but my friend, her husband, and my little pal Archie that passed away. It's all I need to think about, and all the other families that are suffering with this as well. So really, mentally, that's all I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
It's not for me. So
yeah, an incredible cause. And for the listeners' benefit, in the description of the YouTube and the podcast episode listing on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, the link where they can donate to this charity and cause will be there for you as well. In that little segue there, you spoke about your body being strong and you almost a little bit of reliance on that. And I love that confidence. I think it's really important. And one thing that I've found with the conversations that I've had with people from the fitness industry is it can kind of turn into a bit of a chicken and an egg scenario, right? What do you want to look after first? Do you want to look after the mental side of how you're feeling, or what do you look after the physical side, which then supports the mental side? Which comes first for you? Is it the mental or is it the physical? It's a tough one, isn't it?
It is tough because for me, it's hand in hand. Fitness is my highest value. Without fitness, mentally, I wouldn't be as strong. But I also need my mental resilience to push through all the stuff that I want my body to do. So for me, physical health is mental health. It's the same thing. Like mental health is physical. It's like you're working on both at the same time. If you're mentally well, you're going to be able to be more active. You're going to have more energy. If you're physically well, you're going to be able to be more resilient and capable to take challenges on mentally. So I think there's not this one or the other. We should be doing it all.
Yeah, I completely agree. And in terms of when a client comes to you for whatever goal that they're coming to you for, if you're anything like my clients, a lot of the time it's to do with around weight loss and wanting to look a bit better.
Yeah.
You find that without realizing they have to work on the mental side of what they're working towards first before they go on to achieve the physical aspects of what they're looking to achieve.
I think it comes hand in hand again, because as soon as they start seeing achievements, they get more confident. When they get more confident, they're willing to try more things. When they try more things, they boost their confidence again. Then any challenges that they maybe would have faced previously that they, wouldn't have been able to cope with, they're now able to cope with it because they're feeling better and feeling better within themselves. So I think I know people come to you and they'll say, I want to lose weight, or I want this, I want that. Why? Well, I just want to lose weight. I want to look better. Why do you want to look better? And then when you dig deep, it's always something mental that's behind it. But I think a lot of times you speak about mindset and things like that, people don't understand it, so they shy away from it. So I don't really mention that too much, but I know that within the first week, they're going to feel better. Then the following week, they're going to feel a little bit better. And then they're going to feel a little bit better. And then it just comes hand in hand. I think it comes hand in hand because with fitness, it's impossible to get worse at something. If you're doing it consistently, you will get better. Like, you can't get more shit at something if you're doing it all the time. So then when you get better at something, you start realizing, oh, I'm capable. But then that transitions into all areas of your life without even knowing it's done that. Without even knowing it. You start sticking up for yourself a bit more. You start, applying for that job or applying for that, or going to your boss and asking for that pay rise. You don't even realize that this all stems from just feeling better about yourself.
Because
so
that can,
yeah,
100% agree with you. And that can literally stem from that first set of being underneath, I don't know, for example, a set of shoulder press dumbbells. The first time you do them, you're 8 reps in and you tell yourself you can't do it and you give up. The next week, you've got 8 reps in you already and it turns into 9, then 10, then 11, then 12. And that belief comes. And then you start wondering, where else can I apply that belief? And when you see that in I'm sure you've had it even in your own experience of getting stronger. And I mean, being a gym owner yourself and business owner and entrepreneur, you have all of those challenges. Same as me with the business and with the podcast, all of those challenges. those lessons that you can get from really small wins, and you can add to your resilience by 1%, 2%, which then, like you say, can knock on into other aspects of your life is huge. But
Yeah.
one thing that I do think is important to say today, especially when it comes to that, is you can't expect that quickly. Would you agree?
Oh, definitely. It takes a long time. You've got to be patient. You've got to be willing to do the work. It takes a long time. I've been doing fitness now for almost 10 years.
Wow.
And I've been working really hard on my mental health, more so in the last 4 years. And I am still, no, I don't think we ever get to a place where we're completely happy, because we can always be better. I believe that, and that's not a bad thing. But there's still things I need to work on. There's still things that I really struggle with. It's just slowly, like, this has probably been my best year yet. And you sometimes don't even realize it's happened. And you're like, oh, that's not stressed me out as much as it used to do. I suppose that's a good thing. And, oh, I wouldn't have been able to do that a couple of years ago. And you don't even realize. But yeah, it takes a long time. Like, you have got to keep pushing. And when you want to quit is when you should work harder. Simple. Because that's when you'll start that. It's not the things that you achieve, it's that you're not achieving it, but you're gonna fucking do it anyway. That's what's gonna get this working. That's what's gonna make you more mentally resilient, because you're gonna be like, God, that was flipping hard, but I did it anyway. I didn't feel like it was going to happen, but I did it anyway. And then you're like, well, I can do anything now. So yeah, it takes a long time and it takes a lot of effort, but you can't get shit at something you keep doing. It's impossible.
Yeah, insane. One thing I'd say is I came across you and noticed you, should we say, at Paul Mort's ball 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And one thing in Newcastle, one thing I'd say from there is you have shown up with relentless energy and application and consistency. Like you say, you keep showing up, which means you're not going to get worse at something, right? And I can see that in you, the confidence. I could tell you were a very confident woman 2 years ago, right? But now I'm speaking to you and I can just see, yes, like the growth is there. It's huge, it's massive, and it's so good to see. What are the biggest challenges that you've come across in the last couple of years that's almost knocked you off of that trajectory to where you are now?
So the biggest challenge in the last couple of years was when I signed up with Paul. My husband had left. That was my biggest challenge, and it was 4 years ago now. That's my biggest challenge, and that's when, I'd already done the ultramarathon at this point. I'd really worked hard to build a business in lockdown. I had a really tough time after my ultramarathon. I really suffered with depression and anxiety and low self-worth, and I kind of fought my way out of that through lockdown. And just with podcasts and listening to people, and James Smith was a big one, James Smith PT, because it was the first time I'd heard a guy speak about their feelings ever, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, this person's talking about their feelings, but not only a person, a guy. I didn't know that men like that existed. My husband at the time didn't ever really express how he felt, so it was very new. And I thought, well, if he can do this, then maybe I can start, thinking about talking more about how I'm feeling. And then that's how I kind of started my podcast, and how I started doing live workouts online throughout lockdown to try and help myself be more confident, help other people at the same time. But then after lockdown, my husband left, and like, when I just thought I was improving, I just hit rock bottom. I have never felt so worthless in my entire life. I just felt like I wasn't good enough. And that's the hardest, because I just didn't want to go back to that depression. And I thought I would rather not be here than go through that again. And I was ready to give up. And then Paul Mort popped up, and I remember listening to him in lockdown on James's podcast, and I signed up immediately. I was like, if I don't do it right now, I'm probably not going to be here in the next couple of weeks, because I just couldn't cope with the thought of going through that again, but this time without my husband. I just couldn't know. So I joined Paul, and that was it. That's that. The rest is history, really. I've just kept going, and I've been through other tough times, but never to the point where I was going to give up, because there's nothing ever going to be worse than how I felt then. Nothing's going to ever be as bad as that. Never, ever, ever. And like when my kids really struggled with the breakup, because it was almost, in hindsight, it wasn't out the blue, but at the time everybody was shocked. I was shocked. The kids were shocked. And I never thought I would be able to do anything, let alone look after my kids or myself. So yeah, nothing's ever going to be as bad as that, but you've just got to keep at it. And I tell people all the time, like, I literally didn't want to be here, but I just didn't give up. And it was shit. Every single day was so shit. But it got better. And then it wasn't so shit. Then it was just a little bit shit. And now it's not shit at all.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, how life's circumstances can affect us in such a huge way. And of course it does. It knocks you out of routine. The normal that you're used to changes completely. But what were the first, when you just started climbing back up to the feeling okay, and then obviously your husband leaves and you are at that rock bottom stage where you're contemplating, like thinking about, I'd rather not be here. What were the first steps of action that you had to take to start climbing back up again, to start feeling better?
I had to talk about it. I had to talk about it. I'd previously, when I was depressed, I kept it to myself. I didn't really speak to anyone about it. I was embarrassed because I was this full of energy, confident person that everybody knew as like so positive all the time, so full of energy. So I was expected to be like that. I felt like I was expected to be like that. So that's when I started Tinny Talk, and I just used to put my camera on, and I used to just talk about how I was feeling. I never spoke about the breakup or went into detail about anything. It was literally how I feel today. This is how I feel. I'm really struggling, and I was completely open. And I didn't see it as talking to people. I just seen it as I was speaking to myself. And then once I got it out, I could rewatch it and listen to it in a clearer headspace.
Wow, yeah.
Because, you know, like when your brain's chaotic and you're just like, oh my God, this is never going to work. I'm never going to be able to take my kids. This is the thoughts I was thinking. I'm never going to be able to take my kids on holiday. How am I supposed to feed them? I'm not even good enough for my husband. So why would anybody else want me? Blah, 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 blah. All these thoughts. And then when you say them out loud and you listen back, you just realize that what you're saying is really not true. That's difficult because some people will believe that. But if you try that, like, record yourself. You don't need to share it with anyone. I just made the choice to share it with people because I've been doing that through lockdown. I've been doing videos, and I thought it was my way of showing that I wasn't the high energy, positive person all the time, which you didn't see much of. And that was when, like I said, James Smith stood out there. I was like, he shares how he feels. Maybe it's right. I should do it. So I started posting them. You don't need to post them, but you need to say these things out loud. So when you're feeling low, you need to find somebody or record yourself. If you haven't got somebody you feel comfortable talking to, record yourself, listen to it back. Because when you say it out loud, you're like, that's not really true. Like, my kids would be better off without me. That's not true. But you think that in here because it's so full that there's no room for clarity. So you need to get it out. So that's your first step. If anyone's listening to this and you feel like they're in that headspace where everything's just going wrong and you're really down, just write it down or say it out loud. Saying it is much more powerful because you then actually physically hear yourself say it.
I remember when I was at my lowest as well, Christmas 2020, 21. I always get the year not quite right. But I remember I sat in this room. It wasn't a podcast studio at the time, and I was in one of those low moods where every thought I was having was negative, and then you beat yourself up because every thought you're having is a negative one. And then you start saying you're a negative person, like labeling yourself with like the depression things, the anxiety things, the low mood things, all of those kind of things. And I broke down crying. And I remember looking in the mirror and something just in my head was like, why are you like, what is making you upset? And I remember it vividly. I just cracked a smile at myself in the mirror and was like, what's going on? Like, what is going on? And one thing that's, I'm on a bit of a little bit of a segue here, but one thing that's really easy to do when you're feeling low and having those negative thoughts about yourself is then think that is it. Like that is part of you. Whereas
Yeah.
actually it isn't. It's just a moment in time.
Yeah.
And then one thing that's amazing about this episode is we've got two people, you completely different circumstances to me, with kids, with an ex-husband, and me in that state of depression, not really knowing, or low mood, not really knowing why, but I got myself there through multiple different actions and ways I was being and doing and all of those kind of things, as we're aware now, that has given, can give hope and can give a little bit of hopefully inspiration to others, that if you are in that state and you are listening, doing really basic things, basic acts of self-care, realizing that it's not a forever thing, and just taking small little actions to building up self-worth, which we'll speak about shortly for you, building back up confidence for me, is a way to then create a new version of you. And one question I do have for you is, do you look back at the version of you then 4 years ago with a degree of empathy and sympathy, or do you look back and think, whoa, I'd rather not attach myself to that person? Because I know for me, I have real, when I talk about me being 23 stone, overweight, low mood, sad, depressed, I get a little bit like, I catch myself being that it was Harry at the end of the day, it was me. Like, and I find myself almost detaching myself from that person sometimes. And I need to be, and sometimes I find I need to be a little bit more sympathetic because I didn't have the tools, I didn't have the knowledge, and now I've got those things. Look what I've been able to do because of it, you know? So yeah,
Yeah.
do you have the same kind of challenges?
I don't really think about it, to be honest, but what I do, I look back and I've never got sympathy because I don't sympathize with people that's feeling sorry for them. I don't do that. But I have a lot of empathy for myself because it was hard. But I'm also proud because I didn't stay there.
Mm.
I didn't stay there. I could have. I could not be here right now. I could have made that choice. You know, would have been easier for me than having to do all the work. You know, not for anyone else, but for me, it would have been easier. But I didn't.
Mm.
I found out who I needed help, who I needed in my life to help me, and I've done the work. So I've got empathy for her, but I'm glad I was that person because I wouldn't be who I am today without being that person.
And the same, as hard as it is to put it across to people who sometimes aren't ready to hear it, we are told and we've learned that those things that happen in our lives happen for us, not to us, which almost enables us to not be stuck in that mode of, for fuck's sakes, like this has happened to me and therefore this is happening and therefore I am this. You've gone from saying 4 years ago this happened and my self-worth was in the pan, to being able to post content of yourself relentlessly daily in a bikini, smashing challenges, and being like an online, and I don't mean this in a cheesy way, but an online personality that comes across insanely well. What did you have to do to come away from the low self-worth? What were the actions that you had to do to get to where you are now?
For me, it was showing myself that I can. And by that, I mean slowly achieving things, slowly looking at achievements I do every day. So I do a lot of talking in schools and things, and I'll be like, I'll say to them, all right, raise your hands if you've achieved something today. Nobody puts their hand up. Well, okay. Who came to school today? Raise your hand. They raised their hand. They're all there at school. Listen to me, obviously.
Yeah.
Who made their bed today? Some of them raised their hand. Who ate breakfast today? Who walked to school today? They're all putting their hands up. I'm like, so you've achieved something, but you didn't even know it. So it was appreciating the small things. Today I got out of my bed. Fucking go me. Today I didn't rely on cider at night time. Go me. It was achieving this, looking at my small achievements. Everyone thinks achievement means like running 18 marathons or winning a competition. No. Yeah, they're great, but we do stuff every single day. Every single day. And that's the problem. People don't appreciate what they're doing every single day. That's the thing that you should be looking at. Because then you're like, okay, I did do that. This is amazing. This is why you've got that general that says make your bed. Because if you make your bed, you can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You've just gotten up, and nobody likes making their bed, right? It's annoying. You just wake up and it's like, ugh, can't be arsed. But you do it anyway. You just do it. We can't be arsed to do a lot of things, but you do it. And then you're like, yes. Then you look back and think, well, I maybe didn't achieve what I wanted, but I made my bed and I brushed my teeth and I fed myself. Like, it's amazing. And people need to appreciate the small wins. That's what gets you the big wins. Appreciating the small ones.
What are the things that you like to include in your routine that allow you? Obviously, journaling is one that we do, and that's something that I speak about regularly because I've created my own one for my clients and people can download for free. But what are the other things that you make sure that you include in your weekly, daily routines that therefore then enable you to have those little wins, little moments where you can appreciate yourself?
Movement, any kind of movement. Anything. Doesn't need to be the gym. If you don't like the gym, that's okay. Not everybody does. If you like walking, walk, run, swim, move your body. Move. If you sit and do nothing, then you're going to feel like shit. You're going to like sit there like that and let your brain run away from you. Like get outside and move. Do something. Movement should be the top of everyone's list. It doesn't matter how 5 minutes, 10 minutes, doesn't matter. So every morning I take my dogs for a walk. I used to go to the gym really early in the morning, but I've switched it now. But it has to be movement. I have to get up and I can't just be like doing housework or like, I can't just go straight to my computer. I have to go and move the minute I'm up because then straight away I'm like, oh, I feel so much better now. Like, what can I do now? And it's another achievement. So movement, if anyone thinks they should be adding something into their daily routine, get up and move.
Even if it's dancing around your kitchen, right?
Yeah, put music on, dance, whatever you want to do. Just move your body because then your mind is like, oh, I like this.
Yeah, I think one thing that it's not spoken about enough when it comes to being a healthier version of you is how simple and how basic that movement element can be. And I do think at times the fitness industry can push the perfect narrative. Gym 3 to 4 times a week, 10,000 steps every day, blah, blah, blah. It's not necessarily achievable for everybody. Yeah, there are people that can change their routines to fit it in if they try hard enough. But for somebody with kids, somebody who is driving 2 hours to work, 2 hours home from work, trying to make a living for their family, putting that point across to them is really unrealistic. Whereas actually, if you just say, okay, where can you move a little bit more in your day? Can you just go out for a 20-minute walk at your in your lunchtime when you're feeling that halfway through the day slump?
Yeah.
Bring that energy back to you. Also, if you're on a weight loss kind of or healthier lifestyle kick, that extra movement can help as you've assisted. And then linking things to the going back to the fitness tree in itself. Over the 10 years that you've been in the game, I'm going to call it the game, there must have been so many different elements of training, dieting, fads, trends, all of those kind of things that you've seen and go. What are the things that stand out to you the most that have made the absolute minimal amount of sense?
massive calorie deficits. Like, we need a calorie deficit to lose weight, right? We all know that, right? James Smith has put that out there for us. But too little food is not good for you.
Yeah.
It's not good, because then you've got no energy to go and do the exercise, which is going to make you feel good. So then you just feel shit, and then you eat shit. Like, I was bad for it up until probably only last year. Like, I still had that mentality, like, oh, I'll lose weight, I'll just take my calories right down. Like, I still was in that bad, circle, just doing the same, right, I'll lose weight, I'll reduce my calories. And it's like, no, like, everyone needs different calories. You can't be on the same calories as someone else, because you're going to burn more, or that person might move less, move more. It should be tailored to you. But also, starving yourself will not work, because you will binge eat, because you can only, rely on that willpower to starve yourself for so long before you're like, I can't fucking take this anymore. And then you eat, and then you eat, and then you eat. And then you feel like shit. Then you think, fuck it, well, I may as well just have this now. Then you don't go and get your steps. Then you don't go to the gym. And then you're just back to square one. Not only that, if you would go in depth, your hormones are all over the place, because it has no idea what's going on. That's a little bit more deeper. But I would say up until just like last year, even I was still in that bad mindset of lose weight. Like, okay, I'll just put my calories right down for a couple of weeks. No, be patient with it. Do it right. Yes, your calories are going to come down. And if you're on it's different, like general population and people that need to weight cut, like, it's going to come down if you're on a strict weight cut for a competition. Obviously, I'm an athlete, so it does different. But we still don't just cut. We do it really slowly, and we take time, and we do end up low calories, but that's a specific reason. You don't need to be doing that as a normal person. You need to fuel. You're not going to drive a 3-hour journey with no fuel in the tank. So why the hell would you think that your body can do that when it's moving and doing all these things for you, but you're not fueling it? That for me, still to this day, like, this is what people should be putting out in the fitness industry, that you need to eat. You need to fuel your body. Yes, calorie deficit, but we need to be explaining, like, how much of explain that it's not just one size fits all. Reduce your calories to 1,500 calories, you'll be all right. No, everyone's different. This is what we need to get out more, is that if you are losing weight and you're serious about it, get the right advice. 100%. I know not everybody can afford a coach. 100% get that, especially nowadays with everything, the rising prices. But there's people out there that are willing to help you and give you the right advice. So stop following these fucking 6-pack in 6 days shit, and find somebody that actually knows what they're talking about, and go to them and ask them for help.
1,000,000%. I couldn't agree more. And
that's the worst one. That's the worst one.
Recently had a conversation with somebody as well, and I think it's a really good time to just drop in, if you don't mind. When people hear about a calorie deficit for the first time, they'll normally get advised to go and use MyFitnessPal. And if a client, not a client of ours, would get hold of MyFitnessPal and they want quick fixes, I'm pretty sure the option that you can put in is that you want to lose £2 a week, or at least £1 a week, which, if you say you're moderately to lightly active with whatever weight and height and age and sex you are, is going to put you in a fucking massive calorie deficit that isn't sustainable for anyone, really, if they want to get a good, or have a good, healthy weight loss journey. What you do need to do, if you're going to download MyFitnessPal for a calorie deficit, is speak to somebody who can offer you the correct advice and give you the right guidance on how much of a deficit you need to be. For me, BMR, if the BMR and they're relatively active, I'm going no more than 10%. I don't know if you agree with that. And if you notice early in your weight loss journey as well that you're losing weight really quickly, and I would say anything over £2 a week is way too much to sustain for a long period of time, and quite quickly you'll feel that energy depletion that you've spoken about. And I just wanted to, I think, like, of course I've seen it spoken about before, And like you say, I don't think it is spoken about enough in the fitness industry. People do know a lot about the calorie deficit now, but do they know that it should be supported by high protein? Do they know how much of a deficit it should be? Sorry, do they know how much of a deficit they should be in? I'm not sure that that message is out there. Calorie deficit, yeah,
Yes.
100%. Everyone knows about it, but what are the other ones? Like, is there any other ones on your mind that have been like red flags in your brain recently? Obviously, all of the fad diet stuff is out there for everybody to see, right? Slim Fast, Weight Watchers, Cambridge diet, anything where you're swapping a shake for a meal for me is the
Fuck
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Fuck that. Just eat.
Just eat
Just eat.
food.
Yeah, just eat food. Like, it's fine if you like shakes and that fits into your, your day, but if you can have a meal, have a meal. Like, it's gonna be like you're not gonna want, like, Herbalife is just the worst thing I've ever come across. Like, shake for breakfast, shake for lunch. Why the hell would you want to drink that shake? It tastes like shit. I also hate when people put out, if you do these exercises, you'll lose belly fat. It's like, that exercise isn't doing shit for your belly fat. Like, come and join my 6-week program and we'll do sit-ups for 6 weeks and you'll have a flat stomach. No, you won't. You can't choose when that fat stomach's going to go. You certainly can't do a specific exercise on it. You have to do everything. You have to do the diet, you have to do the hydration, you have to do the recovery, you have to do the exercise. But I think people are so obsessed with quick fixes.
Yeah.
That they'll pay for these things, and it's like, why? Like, when are you going to learn that it doesn't work? And you might drop a couple of pounds of water, may I add, for your holidays, and you might feel a little bit better, but it's not long term. Like, if you commit to yourself for a year, do it the right way, you're not going to go back. You're going to stay the same because you're going to learn. You're going to learn about your own body. Like, how much people actually know their body? Not many. I've just recently started getting to know mine. Like, how much
How have
people
you
actually are in tune with their body? Not enough of us. If we were, we wouldn't be overweight. We wouldn't have people that are obese because we'd be aware of what our body needs, when it needs it, what it can cope with, what it can't cope with exercise-wise, like how much sleep we need. Everybody's different. Get to know your body, commit for a year and get to know yourself. And I can guarantee you will not go back the weight once you've lost the weight. I've lost a lot of weight and I have never, I'm not saying I haven't fluctuated in weight, but I was 22 stone at my heaviest and I have never ever been back there. Never. Because I did it right. I did it the right way. I did it slow. I was patient. I took my time. I enjoyed it. I didn't look for quick fixes. I just did what was required, and I have only ever gotten better since.
Yeah, it's unreal. How have you started to get to know your own body better recently?
Well, I just know how to fuel it. I know when I need rest. Like, I know when I need rest now, where before it was like, you're fine, just get on with it. It's like, but I know now when I need to maybe take some time off work or take some time off training. I know when I can push myself and I'm just being a little bit lazy. I know when I have pushed myself and maybe it's not as good as it was last week, but I really tried hard. I know when I need to go to sleep. I know when I need to wake up. I know what agrees with my body nutritionally, like what I can eat, and like I can't really eat creamy things. That really upsets my stomach, so then I just avoid it because I'm like, I'd rather not have a sore stomach, to be honest. Where a lot of people will just eat it anyway because they like the taste of it. I'm like, yeah, creamy stuff's amazing, but it gives me a sore stomach, so I'm just not going to do it. You just get to know what your body needs. Your body needs. People say to me all the time, you should be getting 8 to 10 hours sleep. I'm like, I don't need that much sleep. And sleep is important, don't get me wrong, but it's different for everyone. I get very good 7 hours, very high quality sleep. I used to sleep 10 hours, but the quality was shit. So it's not like I was lying in my bed for 10 hours, but I'd be filled with alcohol, tossing and turning all night, and I was a mess. Now I get a solid 7 hours, gone. out.
Gone.
Beautiful. Wake up in the morning, feel great.
Well, I'll always go back to the sleep analogy for me is that I get miserable when I know when I'm tired and I do need to rest more is I like just feel like everything could be an issue on that day, you know? And for me, if
Yeah,
I
oh,
start feeling
definitely.
like that and I'm having to challenge myself to be like, stay when you are overthinking being calm, when you're talking to yourself about you need to just chill out a little bit here, that's for me when I know that I need to rest because
Yeah.
everything else is becoming a bit of a challenge. Whereas when I'm well rested, I don't even need to think about somebody's, I don't know, drove across me on the roundabout or somebody's been a bit of a knobhead in a social situation. I just brush it off like, yeah, all
Yeah.
right, cool. But if I'm tired, wow, that's harder.
100%. I'm the same. Like when I start hating everything, I know
Yeah.
it's time to take a week off. So I got to that point a couple of weeks ago. I was in Spain for a few days with my partner, and I just knew I hadn't had a day off since Christmas Day, and I was just like hating everything. I don't want to do this anymore. I hate this overthinking. I'm not good enough. When I get that I'm not good enough feeling, I'm not saying that doesn't creep in now and again when I'm doing new things, because of course, like, how do I know I'm going to be okay doing this thing? I've never done it, but I'm like daily thinking I'm not good enough. I need to improve. I need to change this. Blah, blah, blah. Then I'm like, girl, you need some time off because you haven't got any energy to feel good enough. So you got to fucking go and get some time off, chill, and realize you're good and you're doing a
Yeah.
good fucking job. So, few days off in the sun, came home brand new.
What else do you do when you have those days where, like you say, there's a one thing that I think is the most tricky thing to balance is when you don't feel like doing something or when you don't have the energy to do something. And sometimes, in my experience, they can feel a little bit the same. How do you know which is which? When do you know that you're being a little bit lazy? Like the days where you can choose to have a rest day at the gym, for example, or not go for that run and do it anyway. Or the day where you say, actually, no, I do feel a certain way. I'm going to have a day off. How do you get the balance right?
Try to think of a day that I've maybe experienced that. I think it's just similar. Like, I know my thoughts process. When I can't be arsed, I'll start trying to make excuses.
Mm,
Oh, well, I'm busy today and I've got this, and maybe I just won't bother going there today because the time and blah, 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 blah. I think excuses. When I'm tired, I'm more like, I'm very calm. I'm more calm, but I'm just like, I'm really just tired today. Like, there's a difference.
yeah.
Excuses will pop in when you can't be arsed.
Almost a bit of
Excuses.
justification, kind of like you're trying to justify the reason
Yeah.
why you're not going to do something. Yeah, no, I
Where
completely
if
get
you're
that. Yeah.
tired, you haven't even got the energy to make excuses.
Yeah.
You're just fucked. So that for me, like, if you come home from work and you just think, oh, I've had such a long day and I'm really tired, and that's all you think to yourself, then make your decision. But if you are already thinking on the way home, I've had a really bad day and I don't think I'm going to have time and I don't think I'm going to manage this and you're already using energy. So then you're using that energy. You've got enough energy to go and do a 20-minute workout.
Mm,
You've got enough energy because you're using your energy. But if you have got nothing, not even energy to make an excuse, then you're tired.
yeah, I completely agree. Love it. 100%. So when it comes to, we're going to go back a little bit into the pod and speak about the self-worth element of you and your growth and how other people can apply the tools in some aspects to work on their self-worth and their confidence because they're definitely intertwined. And I also do believe that it is harder for women in the fitness industry. There's so much out there targeted at women for get the summer body, get your six pack shred in 6 weeks, blah blah blah. How do you overcome that to or how have you overcome those kind of fears and that element of self-worth within yourself, and how do you help others overcome all of that nonsense in terms of the confidence and the image in the fitness industry to help them on their journey?
you should never compare yourself to other people, and never do what you think you should do. Do what you want to do. Oh, I think I should have a summer body. But do you actually want one? Like, do you want, like, what they're showing you a summer body is? What does a summer body actually look like to you? And is that what you want? Yes, I want that, but I will achieve that. A summer body looks different to everyone. Some people think a summer body is a six-pack. I couldn't think of anything worse to try and get a six-pack. I'd be starving and I'd be miserable. I don't want one. So I'd rather not. If that is what a summer body is, I'm good with my winter body. Thank you. You know, so it looks different to everyone. Like, I can't tell somebody what. That's why I don't do a summer body. Don't get me wrong, I have done it in the past. Where, again, that thing, maybe I should be selling this because that's what people want. Then when I was doing it, I hated it because I thought, this is not you. This is what you think you should do. So I don't do any of that anymore. I do challenges, but I make it so that I'm like, 6 weeks, I'm going to teach you what you need to know. And it's going to be so fucking simple that you're going to be able to continue this. But I don't do shreds and things anymore because it's different for everyone. So, like, just do what you want to do, first of all. And then when it comes to improving your confidence, like, that's going to be a massive thing. If you do what you want to do, achieve what you want to achieve, you're already going to feel better. I do this with my social media a lot. I look at people's social media sometimes when I'm having, that's another way to know you're tired if you're scrolling. When I scroll, I'm tired. I don't go on my phone otherwise because I'm busy. But if I'm tired, I'm like bored. But then when I go on there, I make myself feel worse because I start thinking, oh, their content's really good. Maybe I should start posting more educational content. I don't like posting educational content. I like to talk. I like to inspire people. There's a fucking million people out there educating. I want to inspire with what I've got to say and my experiences. That's what I want to do, and be completely open and honest. But sometimes I feel like I should be doing that. No, well, I'm going to be fucking miserable because I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk about how to do an RDL.
Yeah,
like,
fucking right.
But I've got that on my app for my clients, and that's not being like, oh, I'll only give it to my clients. I just don't want to do that. I just don't want to do it. Like, I spend all my time doing that. I want somebody to watch my story and really resonate with it. There's a million fucking people out there telling you how to do an RDL. You don't need me telling you. You can look it up on YouTube. But I want this person that's watching to take something from my experiences that nobody else has got, because it's my experience and they've benefited from that mentally, physically, whatever. Now, if that is in the gym where I've maybe failed a deadlift, I might have failed a deadlift, but then I changed this, then that's fine. But I just do what I want to do. And then when it comes to growing your confidence, you need to show yourself the proof to build your confidence. You don't just wake up confident. You've got to have the data to prove that you're able to do these things. So by achieving, again, going back to this, by achieving, you build your confidence. Simple as that. So if you want to build your confidence, start giving yourself data. Start looking at what you're doing. Start setting goals. Start achieving. Then your confidence will go up. It's just got to happen. Not so, oh, I want to build my confidence. I wish I could be more confident. Well, get to work.
Sick. Yeah, I think the best way, as you've described, to build confidence and self-worth. I mean, self-worth is, I think, the first step to building confidence. If you've got some self-worth, you're going to do the things that you said you were going to do. And I know that sounds a little bit blunt and probably a firm hand way of saying it. But if you are promising yourself that you're going to get yourself in better shape, if you're going to promise yourself that you're going to stop doing cocaine at the weekend, if you're promising yourself that you're going to stop drinking every night of the week, and you're not doing it and you're still feeling shit, that is the recipe to create really shit self-worth and low confidence.
Yeah, because that's data that you can't do it.
Yeah.
But that's your choice. So yeah, it is brutal, but it's the truth. Like, there's no point pussyfooting about it and, oh, you know, if you tell yourself in the mirror every day that you're confident, you'll be, fuck that. No. Do the work, do what you said you were going to do, then you'll be confident. Then you'll feel better. Then your self-worth will grow. And if you are true to yourself as well, again, going back to this, I should do this. No, who for? That's not what you want. So you're not going to have any self-worth because you're doing it for someone else. Do what you want to do. Respect yourself and your opinions and your wants and needs. Then your self-worth will grow. Then you take action. Then your confidence will grow. And I know that people are probably watching thinking, what a bitch. But I've been there. I've been there where I've not felt good and I felt sorry for myself. And so I am quite confident to say these things because I've been there. And I know it's not, I'm not saying it's easy. Like I'm making it out as easy. It's definitely not easy. It's flipping hard. But you want the truth, people. You got to just do the work. Yeah. And that's it.
I'll back you up there as well. The days that I feel like there's any form of sign of low mood, maybe anxiety, boredom, all of the above, are the days where my actions that support my goals are the most important. And if I was to listen to those cues of anxiety, low mood, lack of energy, like I said, and was to take them as real and be like, oh, that means that I can't do anything today, you know that that day will create a worse feeling than what you've already got. If you back up those feelings with a fuck you, and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z anyway, that's where you get the confidence that I'd like to say that me and you portray on this, have portrayed and do portray on this episode, that back up the things that we have said that we have also helped other people with. But more importantly, we wouldn't be able to help other people and talk about this kind of stuff unless we'd done it ourselves, which I think is, again, when you look at where you've come from 4 years ago and where I was around about the same time ago, is massive credit to ourselves, but also just proves what you can do when you do the things that you said you were going to do and back up the feelings that you say that you want to get.
Yeah, 100%. And so the mistakes I was making 4 years ago was I was basing my decisions on my emotions. Oh, I'm sad today, so I'm not going to do anything. Oh, I'm feeling depressed today, so I'm going to drink this case of cider. Oh, I'm this or that. Like, do not make decisions based on your emotion. Like, it's the worst thing you can do. Like, if you're angry, you know how it is. If somebody says something, you're in a bad mood, and then you say something back very defensive, but you don't actually mean that. You've said that based on your emotion. Like, base your decisions on what it is you want to achieve, what it is you want to get out of this life. Not, oh, I'm sad, so I'm not going to do anything. Oh, I'm not confident, so I'm not going to do this. Oh, I couldn't do that because I get anxiety. You have to do those things anyway. They're just emotions. Don't let them rule your life. Don't let them control your life. You control your life. Sit. What is it you want? I want to go to a gym, but I've got gym anxiety. I get it. It's a scary place, but you're not going to feel any better about the situation until you actually just go. So stop using that as a reason not to go. And that's for millions of things, but gym anxiety just popped into my head there because I had somebody that did that recently, and I just said to them, like, that can't be an excuse. Like, figure out a way to make it work. She says, well, can you meet me there? I said, yeah, I'll meet you there. No problem. The first time, I'll meet you there. Do you know what I mean? There's always something out there that you can do that's going to make things easier, but don't base your decision around your emotions because you'll never get anywhere that way.
Almost want to consider that as like a level-based process, right? Level 1, turn up. Level 2, go in the door. Level 3, pick up the first dumbbells of your workout. And then, and alongside that, you can do, right, level 1 is I've been to the gym once. Level 5 is I've been to the gym 3 times. Level 10 is I've been for my 10th session, right? Yeah. And then, like, well, we go back to what you've already spoken about, right? Data. How many times have you been to the gym? How many times or how much less do you feel anxious about it on your 100th time of going to the gym?
As well, it's going back to that people that say, oh, I've only been to the gym once this week. Well, if you change it to, I've been to the fucking gym this week.
Yeah.
Same sentence, but you've just changed it because now you're a badass because you've been to the fucking gym.
Love it.
Or I've been to the gym once this week, baby. You fucking went though, didn't you? That's amazing. So again, it's all about appreciating the small things and giving yourself more credit and looking at the data. Oh, I'm shit at everything. Well, no, it turns out you're not, because the data's there.
Unreal. Absolutely amazing. I feel like I could go away from this podcast today and just fucking go and let out loads of energy. It's been amazing talking to you. I've got 2 questions that finish off the show in a traditional way every time. The first of which is, apart from the 18 marathons in August, what else is coming up for you and the rest of this year?
So I've got a couple of jobs with Giants Live. So I work with Giants Live, which is a strongman, biggest strongman show in the UK. So I work with them. So I've got a couple of them coming up. I've just been given a space at IFS.
Hey, sick. Well done.
So I'm really, really excited for that. I have finally booked a Disney cruise for me and my kids. So absolutely delighted for that. And I'm going back to America to work again in a strongman competition, which I can't wait for. So yeah, just lots of like traveling with work and speaking, which is what I love to do. So that's kind of the things that I'm most looking forward to this year, is my holiday with my kids, and because it's Disney, they're 13 and 10 now, and we've never done anything Disney. So I'm like, yes, we're doing something Disney. But yeah, all the talking opportunities I get to have is a big deal, because I've been working for this really quite hard, doing, you know, especially things like IFS and that, and I'm getting to do it more and more. So that's the big things that are coming for me this year.
Incredible. What I've got to ask, the kids' favorite Disney film, what is it?
Do you know what? We're actually not massive Disney fans, to be honest. But you have to, no, I mean, we like Disney. We like all the films.
Yeah.
I think it changes. You know, like when they're younger, it was one thing, then it was something else and something else. Right now, they're looking forward to Moana coming out. They like the real ones, like the live action Disney ones, because they're older now, aren't they? So, but when I wanted to book a cruise, I thought you've got to do Disney in your life, and I've never done Disney either. Same. And I was like, you got to do, but we're not like the type of people that would want to queue for rides. Like, we're not into that. So I was like, what's the next best thing from Disneyland? I'm like, Disney cruise. So, yeah, can't wait. But I'm not sure what their favorite film would be. But I think any of the live action ones, they love that.
Insane. Yeah, no, unreal. That sounds mega exciting. And then the final question, bit more of a one that you're probably gonna have to think a little bit about, is what is the greatest bit of advice you've ever been given?
Oh, that's not hard, because I remember it to this day. Paul Moore, obviously. When I came to Paul, I cried every single week on the war rooms for about a year. And then he had enough of me crying, because I wasn't really taking in what he was telling me. And he just said, Nichola, no one is coming to save you. So what do you want? And I was just like, fuck, it's me. I've got to do it. Fuck, no one else. I was hoping Paul would fix me. And obviously he's given me all the tools, and he has been a huge part in changing my life. But what that statement meant was, there's nothing he could do. There's nothing all these people can do. There's no one coming to save you. You have to fucking do it. What do you want? That was it. That was the day that changed my life. And I'll never forget that sentence. That's the best. It's not even advice. It was the right question. Incredible. And I think it's a question that everybody should ask themselves. Like, realize that you have to make the changes yourself. And what do you want? That is like the best question ever. Like, what do you want? And it's like, you ask people what they want, but a lot of times they have no idea. They're like, I don't know. Well, it's time you figure it out, because then you'll be truly happy.
But what a way to finish. Where can people come and find you on social media if they want to come find out more about you, Nichola?
So it's _NB coaching on Instagram. Probably that's your best bet to find me on Instagram. I've got everything on there. I've also got my own podcast, which is Tinny Talk, which is Spotify, Apple, and on YouTube. YouTube again is NBTV. So that's your best ones. You're going to find me on TikTok and Facebook. I don't really put much on, so pointless you trying to search me for there. Just get me on Instagram or listen to the podcast.
Incredible. If you have enjoyed today's episode with me and Nichola, please go over to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and drop a 5-star review. And if you are watching on YouTube, hello, like and subscribe is below us down here somewhere. If you click all of them, 5-star on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, subscribe on YouTube and like the video. You will literally be doing me the greatest of favors, pushing me through that algorithm life, you know, on all of these great big things. Thank you very much for listening. This has been another episode of 100% Podcast with Harry Purdy. I'll see you here for a new episode every Friday. Take care.